Here's my review of Invincible Season 4. I thought that this was another really good season, and this is a show where I really loved Season 1, but I personally don't think it's been able to reach that hype for me. But I will say, I think this is probably the second best season of the show. And what I really like about it is just the dynamic between Invincible and Omni-Man, where for at least a big part of it, for like a couple episodes, the first couple episodes of the show, Invincible's kind of just by himself until Omni-Man eventually comes down to Earth to help him for the Viltrumite War. And I will say that's when the show really got interesting. Like when they're on Earth, I found it to be kind of uninteresting. And it's really not until Mark left to go with Omni-Man until it got really compelling, at least for me. I mean, this show has a bunch of awesome action sequences where they have to take on the Viltrumites, and we learn that there's only like 50-ish Viltrumites left, but just one Viltrumite is extremely powerful. So so it may seem like, oh, wow, we're almost done with this war, but just how powerful one Viltrumite is just so much. We're like, okay, this is a serious problem. And I also liked like the flashback episode where we see a younger Omni-Man. That part was really cool. And Thrag as a villain is just incredibly intimidating. Like he is just so powerful. I mean, but that is one thing with the show where as cool as it is, it also kind of makes, I guess, some of the stuff feel not, I guess, inconsequential, because no matter how brutal the fight is, that Mark's just not going to win, but then he just kind of barely survives each time. And he can get a little repetitive, especially, like, and I did feel this way a little bit with this character in particular, because he's just so powerful. I will say, though, the rematch between Invincible and Conquest was just awesome, and it was brutal, and there were so many moments where you really didn't know, like, okay, is Conquest going to live? But it is also one of those things where, with a show like this, I mean, you know the main character's not going to die, so it is, in the back of your mind, you know Mark's going to at least survive, but what makes this scene great is, well, Conquest doesn't. He does die, and that's so great to see, because in such a brutal fight, because we know even such a powerful character like Conquest, he could be killed. And, like, that is just, it was a really cool fight scene. But after that episode, after Mark's fight with Conquest, Mark is kind of basically incapacitated for a couple days, or I think months, they say in the show. And you really just get some great moments between Nolan and Oliver. And it just almost is great father-son bonding moments, and of Nolan teaching, he's mentoring Oliver, teaching him how to fight. And you realize how Oliver's so ready. He wants to fight these Viltrumites, but you know that he is not strong enough. I mean, he almost dies several times in this season. But it's just really cool seeing him train with Omni-Man. It just makes for a really compelling episode. Like, this episode is probably my favorite of the season. Even though there's really not really much villains. Like, it's literally just Omni-Man and Oliver while Mark is, like, unconscious. But it's really compelling. And, of course, with a show like this, you're still going to get just the absolute brutality and gore. And there is a little bit of a subplot, like, I guess, where, oh, Mark seems to have no problem killing his villains now. And they kind of try to act like Mark's going to turn into Omni-Man or something like that. But I always just find it weird. Like, in a show like this, seeing Mark, like, I mean, it just makes sense to kill the villains. And, like, in such a brutal world that the show is, it feels kind of out of place that they're like, whoa, Mark, you're not going to kill anybody. It's just kind of weird. But it was still cool. And like I said, the awesome action is very fun. And then we got another whole subplot where Adam Eve's powers don't work. And we don't really know why until we eventually find out that she's pregnant. And it would be a compelling storyline, and at first it kind of is, but it feels like it just goes nowhere, because towards, like, when she finally tells Mark, she just basically tells him, oh, I was pregnant, but then I had an abortion. So it just seems like out of the, it's like, what was even the point of telling him? Or what was even the point of this whole plot line just so she could be depowered for a little bit. Because I mean, she is such an overpowered character. They had to find a way to nerf her. It is kind of weird. Like the subplot kind of feels just like, oh, we got to nerf this character because she's too powerful. But like I said, what I think makes this season as good as it is just how threatening Thrag feels. Because, I mean, he is extremely powerful. All these Viltrumites are, and that's what makes all, like, there's, like, a whole fight scene, I think in, like, it might be the last episode, maybe it was, like, the second to last episode, like, that whole fight scene was just so intense, where you didn't know who was gonna live, who was gonna die, because everyone here is just so powerful. It made for a great, like, battle. When you have all these characters where Alan, Invincible, Battle Beast, Omni-Man, Oliver just go up against these Viltrumites and like almost die, it was just really cool to see. Especially, I think, the fight between Omni-Man and Thrag was just especially cool. It was just awesome. I will say, though, the way that it does a really good job with its ending, considering what it sets up of with the Viltrumites invading Earth and just disguising themselves and basically slowly going to repopulate the Viltrumite Empire. It really does, by the end of this season, you're like, oh wow, I really don't know how they can stop these people because the Viltrumites are already extremely popular, and if they're going to keep reproducing and having more of them, because we know that there's only like 50 left, but I mean, if they still look like humans, and if they have kids, and then they're going to have even more Viltrumite kids who are extremely powerful, it puts you in perspective like, okay, I really don't, it left me on the edge of my seat and like, I don't know where they're going next season because that's such a like bombshell to drop, but it just makes me really excited. I mean, what really carries this show though for me is I think the father-son relationship between Mark and Omni-Man. Mark and Nolan's relationship is really just so compelling. Just seeing them together is what's great. But yeah, I don't really know where this next season's going to go. I did thoroughly enjoy this season. I still think that season one's probably my personal favorite, but I think that this is the second best season. The action, like, you have people complaining about the animation, and that is true where it's not really that great. But when it gets good towards the action scenes and the fight scenes, it really is great. You have great chemistry between Nolan and Mark. And like I said, just outside of like some of the plot lines that just feel kind of pointless, like I said, it's a solid episode, but I feel like as much as I'm hyping it up, it really is like those back half of the episodes that were just really good. In the first, like, I don't know, 5-ish episodes were just like, yeah, they were pretty good, but about 6 through 8, 6, 7, and 8 were just really good. But overall, it was a solid season. Also, really liked Alan. Again, seeing Alan and Nolan together for like an episode was really cool. Overall, it's a solid season. I'm really excited to see where it goes.